Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and today is the WNR451. It's Survivor Series 2022. I'm not alone. I have a pleasure to be joined by the entire WNR team. But before that, witches gather at masses, bodies burning in red ashes. On the hill, the church in ruin, in this scene of evil doing, is a place for all bad sinners. Watch them eating dead rat cinder. I guess it's the same wherever you may go. And that, of course, is War Pigs, Ozzy Osbourne, with a... and, of course, speaking of bangers, my team are full of bangers. Is that a correct thing to say? I'm not sure. But up first by my side for every WWE and AEW pay-per-view is, of course, the fantastic Jaxie Scarlett. How you doing?
Hey, what was that? Hello. I had no idea who you were introducing then. I was thinking, is it me? But Monty? Who are you going with first?
Yeah,
Happy to be here. I think I may sound a little under the weather. Just got a bit of a sore throat, but we'll power on through.
Trust me, I am not right. The amount of medication I'm on now, if any of this makes sense, listening back to it, it would be achievement in itself. But again, glad to have you on for the ride today. Up next, our resident NXT and New Japan expert, the one and only, it is, of course, Monty. How's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm here. I'm happy. Ready to talk about this fantastic show, might I say, just to spoil everything. I think we can all agree on that. Can't wait to get into it, and let's do
it.
Yeah.
If I go off piste, please help me out. And last, but by no means least, she can't sing, she can't dance, but who cares? She walks like Gina. I'll say she can't sing, she can't dance, but who cares? She walks like Gina. It is Gina. How's it going?
Hello. I mean, I definitely feel like I've got a Phoebe Buffet from Friends thick voice going on right now. So hopefully it won't get in the way of the podcast today. But aside from that, I'm excited to be here.
Well, if you say, like, hello, WNR podcast listeners, I'm sure we're going to have a few more kind of followers and listeners. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure if I say that. So, yeah, Gina, thank you for doing that. How are you feeling? Like we said, are you not the best at the moment?
No, I mean, I'm much better than I was a couple of days ago, but I'm still pretty unwell. So hopefully in the next few days, I'll be 100% again.
Yeah, listening to this podcast and a live show and seeing the difference, seeing us, you know, when we're at a high and then us coming down.
The last live show, I was absolutely drunk, so I do apologize. And then your next show, you get ill, Gina. I feel like I'm bringing you various different sides to me.
Yeah. It's a very important public relations story, you know, it's like for the children out there. Like, yes, you may have fun, but it will be, you know, things that happen afterwards. But like I said, we're here for Survivor Series Wargames. Let's get into it. And what better way to kick off than with kickoff Caleb Braxton, Booker T, Jerry the King Lawyer, Irish Kevin, and Pete Rosenberg. And one thing I noticed about this entire kickoff is there was a security guard behind Patrick telling everybody to fuck off. So the people that were literally walking behind him, you just see this arm coming out of shot and just moving people away. Apart from that, there was nothing else on this kickoff, and I watched it for an hour. That's an hour of my life I will never get back. Oh, well. So Ozzy starts us off properly with Trips taking more care with intros. I mean, Monty, how good was it to see Ozzy Osbourne starting us off? And it gave a kind of big event feel straight away.
Yeah, man, all the way down, like you mentioned, with Black Sabbath being on the soundtrack and his opening and all of that. It was a good look, and I agree. The aesthetic was all there. You can see, and you know, we talked about this. You know, even in takeovers, you know, he was kind of good at implementing themes into some of these shows and all of that. Even down at NXT, so it's kind of cool that you can kind of see his influence and see that in the way this show opened. And you know, WWE usually they have a great. We talked about it before with video packages and other. They have a great team back there when it comes to being creative for the most part with their show themes. And I thought this one was right on the money with War Games, War Pigs. Like, it all just made sense. So it was great to see Ozzy in that spot.
Yeah, without shadow of a doubt. Well, waste no time because we got Cole and Graves and introduce himself. And then it's War Games as Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Asuka, Alexa Bliss and Mia Yim take on Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley. Everybody's gear in the match looked awesome. They went all out on the designs. That's another reason you can tell it's a big event when they actually take care of their outfits. We see Belair and Kai starting a match for their teams. This is the fourth War Games for Kai. And I'm surprised she didn't turn on any of her partners. That's what she usually does. We start off with the Hills having the advantage. So after the first 5-minute period, Sky joined a tag team partner in the ring. Sky's Hurricane Runner to Blair did not go as planned, but the drop kick she hit by jumping from one rope to another before hit Blair was awesome. Like I said, Jaxie, the stuff that he can do, because I'm very biased. I do think she's the coolest wrestler. But like even the Hurricane Runner didn't put her off from hitting the rope to rope. And again, the way she does it is just beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And you could really tell it being Dakota's fourth War Games and how comfortable she was sort of starting off the War Games. And I don't think that they disappointed in opening the show. There were quite a few sort of like high moments that really elevated this match. But yeah, really incredible talent right there.
Well, do you think it's time to give us just Asuka and Io? Have they teased it too many times?
We need it. Do you know what? They've teased it so much that if they don't give this to me, James, I'm going to riot. Monty, I will riot. Like, it needs to happen. Give me this feud, okay? I don't care if you actually turn. I don't care which one's heel, which one's face. Give me this feud already. Both women need to be in singles runs. And yeah, just give it to me because the talent is just unreal. And those two know each other so well. They're the type of duo that could give us match after match and always produce something different. So just give it to us, you know?
Well, when it was time for Nikki Cross to enter the match, she brought a ton of weapons with her from under the ring. Alexa Bliss nearly got decapitated with some wires. You think, come on, guys, this is very simple. I know Bliss only 5 foot, but still, you could take her out. Cross hit a big dive from the top of the cage onto everyone who was in the ring at the time. When Bayley joined a few minutes later, she brought some ladders and a table into the ring, which took her a good while. Speaking of which, Mia Yim lost to some trash cans. And noticed the camera operator inside the cage as well. Ripley and Lynch were the final members of their teams. Once the man entered the ring, the match officially began. There could be one at any point. I'm glad we got Io in a trash can. That should be a War Games tradition, no matter what. Becky beating up the Hills without any help. Asuka misted Ripley. Bayley landed a hand on the back of her neck when Bianca tried to powerbomb. Io moonsaulted off the top of the cage. Ripley put Yim through a ladder, and Lynch ended up scoring a pin for a team by hitting a huge leg drop off the top of the cage to put Kai through a table. Gina, what did you think of this match?
I mean, I really enjoyed it. There were a few spots that, you know, I've noticed people keep, like, you really love to regurgitate on Twitter at the moment where, you know, things may not have gone completely planned and things like that. But for me, I was entertained from beginning to end. And I feel like these women went hard. Like, they brought in all different kinds of weapons that they could use against each other. I agree with you, James. The whole Io in a trash can needs to be a recurring thing, like Kofi in the Royal Rumble, you know? We need a recurring thing of Io with a trash can in War Games every time. Because I actually said to Jaxie when we were watching it, didn't this happen to her last time? She get put in the trash. I absolutely loved it. But again, I got to commend all the women as well because they all just put their bodies on the line. They're all, you know, quite a lot of them are quite short. And Nikki jumping from the top was just, you know, that could have been frightening. I think that I'm quite tall. I'm not. I actually found out I'm the shortest in my team, and I've been telling everybody I'm the tallest in my team. But I think I'm quite tall, and even I would be scared on the top of that ring. So fair play to these women for just going for it with their bodies. And whether there was a few little mistakes here or there, sorry, but that's not enough for me to say that this was a bad match. I think it was a wicked match.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, did all the spots work? Probably not. Was it fun? Yes. Like you said, it was fucking mental. Especially, like, we don't even mention, like, the Wiley Coat, you can, as it was, you see all the kind of bodies and weapons strewn across the ring. And like I said, Nikki Cross can achieve anything with this gimmick. I always remember her facing Asuka, the last women's standard match in NXT. And this was the Nikki Cross of old. And she almost stole the show from Becky Lynch, but Lynch, again, risking it all. And it was a bit surprising she did as well, Gina, because, like, she's just come back from a serious injury, and she's diving off the top of the cage. Yes, Kai and Io took the majority, but still, it's a risk, and you think it still means a lot to the man.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And like I said, you got to commend them for putting those risks, like, straight up there. They wanted to give a banger of a show and a banger of an opening match, and that's what they gave.
Yeah. My only concern is damage control in this one, and of course we're going to look at the predictions, but I think Bayley needs to use the Freebird rule, maybe dump EO, so EO as a face would just be cool. I mean, that's maybe... but for me, it didn't feel too long either.
Maybe a little bit difficult. That may be a little bit difficult considering she's still a champion at the moment. You know, so they'd have to lose the titles first.
No, they could do the Freebird.
Just full-on feud with Asuka and Io. I'm sorry, but I really need just like a full-on feud of just those two, you know, in a singular feud. So just give me that a few times and then turn her face.
Yeah, but there's always a Freebird rule. Like we say, Bayley could take the title, defend it 2 of the 3, and then just get rid of Io. I mean, that's the way of doing that as well.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of like having Bayley to take over as a tag team and then just kick out Io.
Yeah,
that would actually be quite a cool dynamic. They haven't done something like that before, so that would be something refreshing, something new, you know?
Yeah, well, we never know. I mean, Jaxie, what were your thoughts on the match?
I loved this match. I thought, I mean, judging from the crowd, you can hear how hyped they were for it. I think that the women, all women involved, took some really risky spots and just performed overall just really well. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was just fast paced. There was entertaining moments. There were moments that I felt was holy shit, is she okay type of moment. Was I disappointed with the outcome considering that already took me down a point? Yes, I was. I do feel like I'm questioning where damage control go from here. So as we were just discussing about whether or not Bayley decides to turn and change things up, you know, for the team, I don't know. But I just feel like because they've not gone for the damage control win route right now, even though they're tag champions, the group itself aren't really being that successful or that dominant. So I just wonder where they go from here, you know? That being said, doesn't matter about the fact that it doesn't take away from the caliber of the match. The match itself was amazing in my opinion.
Yeah. Gina, what would you score out of 5?
Do you know what? I'm gonna give that a 4.5. No, I'm gonna give it 4 3/4. I'm gonna give it 4 3/4. I'm gonna give them a high match score because they did well in the match. So, and I enjoyed it.
Jaxie, what are you out of 5?
Well, I really enjoyed this, so I gave it a 5.
And Monty, what's your score? And what were any added thoughts to that?
Yeah, I agree with a lot with everything that you guys were saying. It was full of good moments. It was a great time to watch. It wasn't always pretty, but like you said, it was a lot of fun spots. I love seeing Unhinged Nikki back and in her element. Just like you said, I watched that last woman standing match also with Asuka. One of the best matches of that format I've ever seen. Everyone should always watch that match, just because they killed that, man, right on NXT. I'll never forget. I watched that live when it aired. It was awesome. But anyway, Asuka, Mist, and Rhea was great because I always like when she pulls out the Mist. It's been a while. Bianca and Becky, when they just work together and kind of and the chemistry between Bianca and Becky on the way they kind of threw their finishes right into each other. I kind of liked it because it worked out. Like the KOD would get reversed into a manhandle, and then they did the manhandle into a KOD. It was kind of
Yeah,
cool
yeah, I
how
remember
that
that
worked
part.
out.
That was quite cool.
It was like awesome
Yeah,
how they
it
did that
actually
together.
looked. Yeah, it looked quite good, especially because they did it like in reverse for both, so
Right.
it worked really well.
Yeah, and then the big spot through the table, like you said, with Becky coming back, fantastic finish. And like I said, I was wondering about damage control, but I kind of look at it two ways too. Again, because like I also can understand that at this point, what damage control has done has really revitalized. Like they're on both shows now. Just them being together has been great for the women's division that has been lacking in a lot of other areas. And now when you add Becky Lynch to this thing, yeah, they haven't won consistently, but I guess I can kind of still see damage control value. But I definitely thought they should have at least won something in this whole thing with Bianca. But I also don't mind a dominant Bianca, and this was an exciting match to the end. So I said 4.5 stars.
4.5. Like I said, it's a really, really good way to start the show. Poll-wise, Bianca's team 62%, which makes me think, did we fucking miss something? Like, why? I thought
they went with the comeback. Like, usually you don't lose comebacks.
Why didn't we do that? It's just like, I don't know.
In hindsight, I think I overthought all of my picks, but we'll get into that.
Well, the pressure was on. Like I said, the pressure was on because when we get to predictions, let's not forget that it is down to Monty and Jaxie today for the win. Like I said, they are level on points. I think it's 6 points each at this moment in time. So whoever wins outright will win the W Prediction League. But like I said, we all went damage control, so we're all on 0. Jey Uso goes to Roman Reigns with his concerns about Sami Zayn and asks what they're going to do about him. Roman tells Jey he's going to go out there and be the right-hand man, and Roman will be the tribal chief, and he take care of things man-to-man with Sami, and know if he's telling the truth. Uso leaves, and Reigns tells Paul Heyman to bring him Sami Zayn. I mean, Jaxie, these things during even the pay-per-view is even a story now. It's much like the old days.
Yeah.
Where we've got this, thing going on throughout the night.
They're storytelling. Exactly, they're storytelling. And this is storytelling done at its finest. This is the right kind of way. Everyone is completely invested in the Sami Uso story right now. So getting these small little snippets in between the pay-per-view and having it add to the build-up and anticipation of the main event it works perfectly, because right from that very first sort of interaction between Jey and Roman, you've got the audience questioning whether or not there's going to be a turn on Sami tonight, so it builds that anticipation for getting this match started, to see what's going to happen, to see what the outcome is going to be. I'm 100% invested in all of this. I think when things, kind of come about into fruition, and we see sort of the result and the outcome, and potential turn on either side, it's going to break my heart because I'm that invested, So I look forward to kind of continuing to see this progress and see where we end up with this.
Yeah, well, up next we have Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. The Phenomenal One had control early, but the Prince wasn't about to make it easy on him. Whether it looked like Styles had it cornered, Balor would come up with a way to counter him. About 10 minutes into the match, all hell broke loose at ringside. The OC and the rest of the Judgment Day began to brawl and fought the crowd, leaving Balor and Styles alone. After failing to get the win with a calf crusher, Styles there was scored a victory with a phenomenal forearm. It was good that they got everyone else away from things so these two could shine on their own, but maybe didn't reach to the limits that I was expecting. But then again, Monty, what are your thoughts on this? But because we know what Finn and AJ can do, are we just waiting for a 5-star match every time?
Yeah, I think that's what happens when you have like the reputation of these two guys, and like you said, we've seen them make magic together in the past. So you always kind of have a degree. I think they kind of do that to AJ and Shinsuke also, like because they had a classic in the past. So every time they fight now, it's like you expect, like you said, 5 stars, and every time it's not always going to be like that every time. But again, I thought this match was good. to me, and it really had me into it. The crowd didn't necessarily, like you said, going until they kind of got the rest of the guys out of the, till everyone kind of cleared house and it became, pressure towards the end there. And I thought they had a really good flow. Me, I love the New Japan references. Every time Michael Cole has to explain something about Bullet Club or something about in New Japan, the mark in me is gonna jump for joy because it never used to happen. WWE always acted like New Japan or stuff like that never existed. So anytime they do that, just to add to this story, because of course these are at least the first two leaders of the Bullet Club, and with Prince Devitt or Balor being the first and AJ coming right after. So I loved how involved in that story the commentators were when they were talking about it. So I didn't mind that. The end of the match flowed well toward the end. And I thought the story of it was they were pretty much evenly matched if you just all things considered. But then AJ kind of wins in a flurry towards the end. So I thought they had a lot of time to do what they needed to do. I enjoyed the match, but I didn't think it was, like you said, I didn't think it was, I think they definitely can go a level higher, and I didn't think it was as good or better than the War Games match. So I kind of gave it 4.25. I ended up on that. But I still enjoyed this match, though. I thought it was really good, especially I gave it a rewatch. And maybe the night of, I was really into it the night of, but then I got a chance to really look at it again the second time I watched it. So it was really good.
But this is the thing, though. You mentioned the people catching their breath for a bit. It was just after the Women's War Games, which was crazy as anything, But
right.
They did warm up nicely to this. And like I said, Michael Cole, I think I popped for him when he mentioned Kushida. Because I'm thinking, Kushida's never come back to WWE.
6-time junior heavyweight champion, yeah. And he mentioned Kushida that has nothing to do with him anymore. But still, that reference, to feel alive. It's like WWE has finally joined into the rest of the wrestling world, if you see what I'm trying to say. And they always kind of been above the rest of them. Now it feels like they, at least the WWE universe can exist with these other universes.
Yeah. This is the thing, and the funny thing in this match is that AJ Styles, of course, he's the vet, as they keep calling him, a veteran now, and he's 45, but Balor's 41. So no spring chicken.
Yes, both vets.
Yeah, let's not forget. Finn had a bad mark on his back. AJ's chest looked rough. These two men did lay it in, and like you said, it was a really good match. Still not as good as their TLC match. But, I mean, Jaxie, what would you score out of 5? And what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what both of you were saying. The one main common factor of conversation, I would say, that my sister and I were having throughout this match was the fact that both AJ and Finn are in their 40s and still doing moves like this. It's just so goddamn impressive. I too picked up on some of the New Japan stuff, and Monty, you'd be really proud because we were like, I know this, I know who he's talking about. So I was really happy with that. I'm getting there, slowly but surely getting there. I too really enjoyed seeing the Bullet Club references. It really does make me think of Jay White and everyone else in the Bullet Club in New Japan. So just seeing sort of the progression of wrestling since Paul Levesque has taken over is just refreshing. I enjoyed this match. Do I think it was overly amazing? No, but I think it definitely did the job. I too gave it a 4.25. I thought it was a pretty decent.
Not to go off topic here, but just mention Jay White. And if anybody is interested, New Japan Strong had a great match a couple of weeks ago. It was Jay White versus Fred Rosser, the former Darren Young. And it was the IWGP Heavyweight Champion versus the Strong Champ. And it really is a great match. And when you consider it's one of the primetime players versus Switchblade, it's crazy to think. But check that out. Gina, what did you think of Balor versus AJ? Getting back on topic.
I agree with you as well. For me, the only thing, and it's not really a bad thing, but I just was like, I don't know if I feel like this was built up enough for it to be like a pay-per-view, because it feels like we'd seen this match a few times, but Was I mad at watching this match? No. So I still enjoyed it. I gave it a 4. And again, like my sister said, these guys are in their 40s and they're wrestling like so much better than some of the younger wrestlers at this moment in time. So it just shows you that age really isn't a number when it comes to this profession, and fair play to the guys.
Yeah, I think about that. I completely agree with that. I'll give that a 4 as well. AJ got 88% of the polls. Predictions, we all went AJ, so we all get a point. So 1-0. Aussie, of course, gave his time a little bit here, so we, plug the album. Up next, the SmackDown Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi brought her tank. Ronda brought hers in Basler. And the ballsy badass went right with the champ, but the former UFC star was ready for her and had her down in an ankle lock within the first minute. The match was built up with Rousey as the dominant champ and Shotzi, the valiant underdog. It worked though when she was trying to make a comeback. Whether the title holder took over, things slowed down. He ended up fighting. Shotzi took out Rousey, Basler, and several other fans in the front row with a dive off the barricade. I'm sure Hank was a part of the group. After they got back in the ring, the baddest woman on the planet took Shotzi off the top rope with this weird slam, hit the Piper's Pit, and then into the armbar for the win. Jaxie, what were your thoughts on this matchup,
Okay, this wasn't okay. I didn't really like it. It's not really the fault of Ronda or Shotzi. I think it really just originally stems from the fact that I don't feel like there was any remote surprise as to who was going to be sort of the dominant one and who was going to be sort of like coming out as the victor on this. This isn't any sort of dig at Shotzi for that. It's just, Ronda right now is just on a different level, and there wasn't enough time to build up a somewhat decent storyline for people to get invested in really truly believing Shotzi could win. Obviously, if this had been like with Raquel Gonzalez, there might have been a lot more anticipation going into the match. So I feel like even when the match first started, there wasn't any form of anticipation for what's to come. If anything, I was just thinking, geez, Shotzi's about to take a beating of a lifetime, I also just feel like it just didn't really get given a lot of time. It felt like the audience had kind of died down a bit. And it just kind of really was a slugfest for Shotzi getting beat on. She got some good moments in. So I'm not trying to, deny that she didn't look great at some points as well. But I just already felt myself waiting for just sort of that pivotal moment where Ronda's going to be like, all right, I've had enough now. Like, fuck this shit. Like, let me just finish this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel bad because I just didn't really take much from this match.
But do you think it's Ronda's fault? Has she reached a level where she can't be either bothered how to wrestle, even better, or just because we've had to go at Brock Lesnar for the past couple of years about this, and it just seems like it's the same shit with Ronda, and she's not even trying to give to her opponents.
Yeah. I think I have to agree. I feel like there was like minimal effort in Ronda to take this seriously. It just seems like with every match she is involved in, there isn't any there's not any visible progression in seeing her really trying to like evolve her moves, try to make things more entertaining. But I think she's been very vocal in kind of showing that what she believes wrestling to be, which is, just fake, and just, more an acting gig. Like, she comes across like that type of person that just isn't taking this seriously. And as much as she is a big name, so putting the belt on her works well to bring in those numbers, bring in that viewership. At the same time, I don't think it does anything to help elevate the women's belt. I feel like there have been other female wrestlers that have elevated the belt and actually tried their hardest to improve on their own skill sets day in, day out. With Ronda, it just seems like there's no progression at all in anything that she's doing in the ring at the moment. And I think that could also lead to long-time fans of wrestling not anticipating her matches as much as they want to, not feeling any excitement going into her matches because we kind of already know what she's going to give us. So it's kind of like, why should we put the effort into really, giving a shit about her matches when she couldn't give a shit about what she produces in the ring for us? It ultimately sucks for for whoever she's facing. You could tell Shotzi was really going for it, and really trying her hardest in this match. But this match ultimately failed for me to pick up anything to remotely to invest in.
Monty, we've been too negative. Is Ronda well, I think
No, this match was killed online, and it was rough, but it wasn't all bad. And like you mentioned, a lot of that good in this match was how hard Shotzi was working, and I think both of them worked hard. But how hard, good Shotzi looked at times, and the fact that they wanted to showcase that she is relentless and that she had a chance in this match. But like you guys mentioned, we know what's going to happen anyway. And besides that, the fact that we already know that, it's all. And when you're a champion and when you're at Ronda's level, you have to be able to. We've seen Ronda do good, but every time she's done really, really good in WWE, she's been in the ring with some top-notch talent. Like that's what not trying to say Ronda isn't good, but like you're having great matches with Becky Lynch. Okay, how many bad matches do Becky Lynch have? Or you're having great matches with Charlotte. You're having great matches with Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the highlights in her career, she's been involved with people who can bring her up to that level. So, as champion you have to, especially in this situation with Shotzi, no one believes Shotzi has a chance. Do you actually believe Ronda is good enough to where she can carry someone who's not already a star? And I think so far she hasn't been able to prove that she can go out there and give a compelling performance with someone who's not already good at having the fans into their matches. So, but I hope Shotzi got more over with people in this case, because Shotzi did still look good in this match. And as a matter of fact, we've seen Shayna have a more natural ability to do that with people than Ronda seemed to when it comes to So I don't understand it, but it was trending to fire Ronda Rousey after this match, man. So I don't think you should fire her off that, but I'm just saying that's how bad some people are really tired of, like you guys say, this lack of effort or this same formula, and it was tough to watch at times. I gave it 3.5 in the end because I thought Shotzi worked hard, and I did get what they were trying to do.
And I also just want to say, just because we were talking a lot about sort of like how Ronda has been portraying herself lately in the ring, I also want to just go back to my earlier point before we even discussed Ronda, that I also do feel like there wasn't enough time to build up a decent storyline for us to truly believe that Shotzi could take the title. But that doesn't take away from the hard work that Shotzi put in, because you could see she was trying. You could see the effort that she was putting in, so I don't want it to look like we were just kind of solely blaming this on Ronda, but also just sort of the story building for this match compared to the level of story building we've been getting for like Sami Uso getting initiated into the bloodline is just on two different, completely different caliber levels. So sometimes it is about how much investment you've done into the storyline as well, in order to help convince the audience on whether or not there could be a title change. So I want to add that factor in as well. It's not just about Ronda's wrestling or Shotzi's effort. Is also to do with the storyline and the build up previously before this match.
But
I'm going to give it. Sorry, I'm going to give it a 3 3/4 for that match.
We'll get scores in a minute, but like we said, we talk about that as well, and it's an interesting thing. But with the, like we said, the Sami Zayn story, The difference is this is kind of once in, not generation storyline, but these storylines don't come along very often. So I think then the problem is we compare it to kind of what it is, and because that's like kind of best out there, it's not going to reach people, and there's no excuse for Ronda to maybe do different things. What I'm going to say, and Gina, I don't know if you've fucking noticed this about heels now in WWE, is that they need people to help them win. Like, I think all the champions have now got backup. Whether it would be the Bloodline, Imperium,
Good point.
Baszler with Ronda now, like.
Managers are back, man.
Why do we need so many heels?
You have to remember, like, back in the day, like, we have, like, heels like Eddie Guerrero, who he did have people help him sometimes, but half the time it was just him being a dutty player himself, undoing his boots and crawling out of the ankle lock so he could get a low blow in and things like that. Like, people like Jay White still can pull off being a heel, sometimes getting help, but also being a heel just by themselves. But aside from those two, I can't really name any other heels that don't have outside help constantly helping them to win. Like, I think that they need to, like, even do that with Bayley. If Bayley is going to be a full-out heel, I never think Bayley should be face ever again. She is the best as a heel. But I think, like, even Bayley, when she's just off on her own again, she needs to prove to people that she can be a heel without having outside help. She can just do it herself because she's that much of a dirty player, A bit like when Becky was a heel for a hot sec. She kind of was doing it all by herself. She's doing it on a heelish way.
I just want to point out as well, though, that Rhea is a heel, and I like to think that during, like, the female side of her matches, she doesn't need no help to win. But then, obviously, when it comes,
but she's in a groove.
No.
I said, it's.
What I'm trying to say is, even though she helps her team get the wins in their matches as the Judgment Day, as a singles person, you don't see her getting any help because she don't need it.
And it does cause distractions quite a lot. Like, that's why AJ had to come out when Rhea was having a match against Mia, I think.
Yeah, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because Dominic.
That was Dominic. Okay. Yeah, well, Dominic
spent his whole career in
the
fact. Once Rhea realizes that it's not bring your kids to work day anymore, then hopefully we can get past this phase of it, So hopefully not. But
it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Evolution booking.
Yeah, this is the thing.
On thinking about Ronda, it did give me vibes of, like, do you remember there was a match between Brock and John Moxley? And I think after the match, like, John Moxley was talking about it, and he was like, he really, really wanted to go hard in that match, and Brock just basically didn't give him the chance, and just basically smashed him and ended the match because he could not even be bothered to try and just put on a good match. He just wanted to, Hulk out, smash, and go. And, like, Mox just felt really deflated from that. And I kind of got that vibe. I'm not necessarily saying this is how Shotzi might have had the time of her life and thought that was a wicked match and I really had a good time. But for me, I just got a little bit of a Brock v. Mox vibe here, saying, like, I feel like Ronda's not putting in enough effort to make this look like Shotzi could have a chance at winning. It's good when we have those matches where you're like, oh, crap, is she actually going to get this, And that's what they did with Liv. Like, none of us actually thought that, and then they actually did it. So it would have been nice for Ronda to commit a little bit more, I guess, just to making us as fans believe that Shotzi might have had a chance.
Yeah, I think we're about that. And you bring up WrestleMania 32.
Ronda said timeless times. She said timeless. She said so many times. She ain't doing this for the fans. So she's not going to give that to us.
Nah, fuck her. That's what I say. But talk about WrestleMania 32 quickly about Mox versus Lesnar, which were the worst WrestleManias of all time. But don't worry, because Roman Reigns and Triple H went like half hour in the main event, so that made up for it, so that was fine. Let's hope we got no more of that booking to come. But with Ronda, it's a thing, right? Because even if she can't be bothered to work, still got that so-called star power next to her name. And to be fair, if we can get to WrestleMania to drop the title to someone, then Ronda could do what she wants. team up with Baszler. Do you know what I mean? Just
You
get
know
to this
what?
point.
I definitely think that needs to happen. I agree with you, James. I do think that they would be a really great tag team. They would dominate the tag team division. I think they could actually bring a lot of curiosity to the women's tag team division and actually start helping to slowly build that up if they both actually really committed to being a tag team together. I just also think that when it comes to Ronda, I'm not trying to say that she always has bad matches. I think it was Monty who rightly said the people that she works with end up making her look greater. I just know that she does have that potential to do that by herself, to help elevate others by herself and stuff. It's just this attitude that we all know that she kind of has that ends up putting us off anything that she gives us in the ring, you know? So who knows though? I think that if she dropped the title and they actually became a tag team, took the championships, I think that there could be a bit more motivation for her there with working with Shayna, but who knows?
Yeah, well, back to the match. Monty, what would you score that out of 5?
Yeah, 3.5 stars. Like I said, it was rough to watch at times, but like I said, I thought I got what they were trying to do, and I thought they both worked hard. So 3.5.
And Gina, what about you?
Yeah, I gave it 3.5 as well.
Yeah, I'll give it 3 3/4. I guess just because of Shotzi's effort. Shotzi on the poll, 62%. I'll have what they're having. I mean, like I said, they might have got damage control, but we're taking when they picked Shotzi. Predictions, we all went Ronda, so we all 2-0. And Sami Zayn rolls up into Roman Reigns' office to chat. Roman asked him about last night, and it was talking to Kevin Owens. Sami admits, and Reigns asked why he lied to Jay. Zayn said he withheld the information. He lied to Jay because he had a huge match and didn't want this to be on his plate. He already had trouble trusting him. If he's being honest, he didn't talk to Kevin. He sat there and listened, and then Owens left, and that's the truth. Roman asks what KO said, and Sami tells him what he turned on the bloodline before they turn on him. Reigns says he gets that KO was his friend, but he needs Zayn to understand that this is his family. This is his blood, and needs Sami to look in the eyes and know if he's with him or if he's going to stab him in the back. And after looking in his eyes, Reigns stares at him for a long moment, stands up. He tells Sami to get up, and Roman looks at him and a grin, cracks a grin across his face, and they hug with Paul in the background. I mean, again, this was great storyline. I not told it as well, but just go and watch it. You know, like we said, Reigns believing in what Sami Zayn said, which can only be a good thing. But up next, here we go. It's Monty or Jaxie, because we know from the live show exactly what point and what predictions they made. We're going to find out here. Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley for Rollins for the United States Championship. And you know, for a second, I thought Theory's new name was Beyblade. And then I realised they're actually playing a fucking advert as Theory is coming to the ring. It's like, how important are you? Fucking hell, man. You know, like, come on, Theory. But right after the bell rang, Bobby Lashley clotheslined Austin out. He tried to get back in, but Seth Rollins knocked him down. This left the Visionary and the Almighty to fight by themselves until the former Mr. Money in the Bank got involved again. Again, this match was a great job balancing all three, and the sequences were in control. They also set it up so each person took a little time outside, but not too much to make it obvious. Lashley tried to put Rollins in the Hurt Lock, but Theory jumped on his back with sleeve to break it up. Hurt Lock reversed by Austin into pin was a perfect timing from Seth with a frog splash that literally pinpoint. Bobby tried to a double Hurt Lock, and if anybody can, Bobby can. Rollins hit Theory with a superplex, but when he tried to hit the Falcon Arrow, the Almighty speared him. However, Theory made the cover and got the pin to win the championship. Again, this was crazy. Gina, I'll go to you with your thoughts first, because I'm sure Jaxie and Monty will have a lot to say. What did you think of this match as an unbiased participant?
Theory match.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really interested, but it's not that I wasn't really interested. This was like my bathroom break type match. I was kind of like looking on Twitter a lot and stuff like that. So it's not that I wasn't invested, but I also kind of just was, yeah, like you said, unbiased about it, to be honest. It kind of felt a little bit like the Samoa Joe match, the triple threat match. I just felt like it was just really unbiased. I had no idea which way it was going to go. I thought one thing, but then had a gut feeling a different thing was going to happen. So yeah, it was kind of like a catch-22 with this one. But I will admit that I do think that I'm taking Theory a lot more seriously now that he's not this TikToker b-boy kind of vibe. I think the serious vibe is working for him, so I think they need to keep pushing him with that.
Yeah, that said, it's an interesting way to go about it. Jaxie, how happy were you then when Theory won the US title? 'Cause I know you're not a huge fan, but you must have been popping big.
I did not see this coming. First of all, can I just say the best moment of this match was when Seth used Theory's back to like piggyback off of to deliver that master stomp to Lashley. That just looked incredible, and I really enjoyed that part. I was laughing the whole time. Like, he just got taken out by being in the air, but Seth taking the spear by Bobby Lashley, which looked incredibly painful. And I just couldn't help but laugh really, really hard. I did not see this coming, and I actually was watching this whole match thinking, I'm so living in regret with my choice. Why did I pick Theory? Why did I do this to myself? And then I come out winning. So I was really happy, over the moon, just because I did not expect this to happen.
How does that feel, Monty? Not only did you lose this, but why did Theory lose his Money in the Bank then? What was the whole point of this show?
Yeah, that's the only thing that aggravated me about it, to where it's like why did he have to do like, again, it was an open damn challenge. Why did he have to do that? But anyway, it's fine. It's okay. This match was so damn good to me, and the way that played out, like you just explained the finish. I wasn't even that mad, bro. Like, you would be surprised. Like, I sat there after just being on that roller coaster that it was, because it was just that well done. Like, Bobby was dominant, like everyone expected. Seth was the favorite. He sounded like, you heard the crowd. They really was into Seth. Looked like he was going to win until, right into the very end. And in theory, I could call him an opportunist, but he actually showed backbone. He wasn't running away, and he wasn't trying to take advantage of anything. He didn't do the cheapo, throw the other guy out. He tried to do the cheap finish, I think, at one point, but it didn't give us that cheap throw one guy out and then pin him in the end. Like, he did get lucky with the way it played out, but it's still, again, everyone looked so good, even Theory at times, and it was so incredibly dramatic. Cause at the time I was watching it live. Like, you were you were already giving up on Theory. I was more like, no, it's too much going on. So like, it don't feel like he's gonna retain because there's so much going on. So like, but anyway, it was great. Yeah, I think I had a really good time watching, and like I said, I don't know, him failing that cash in to me. I don't know. I still don't like it, but no one can tell me they saw this coming. So that's another thing that made me feel better, because the way it played out was so crazy. I'm like, I don't care what Jackie said. She didn't see it going like that. But
no,
it was
honestly,
great.
I really didn't. This is another reason why I wasn't sending you private messages like, haha, and all this, because I genuinely felt throughout this whole match that I was the one losing this, and I was so surprised in a happy way, but I also was like, that pin should not have happened. So yeah. I lucked into this win. I definitely lucked into this.
But it was a banger, though, man. I can't complain when it's a banger. It's hard for me to complain when the match is great like that.
Well, like I said,
the ending of the match as well didn't hurt Bobby either. I don't think it hurts like his standing.
Yeah, no one looked bad.
Yeah, no one looked
no,
bad.
No, they didn't.
All of them still looked.
I mean, it was Bobby's spear to Seth. Yeah, it was Bobby's spear to Seth that actually won this match. So technically, Bobby should be the winner of this match.
Right.
You know, so
While
there's
Seth
so
was
many
doing a
different
Falcon
arguments for
Arrow.
different things. I think all three of them came out. Yeah.
Like, it was a crazy spot. Like,
that was a crazy.
Seth was looking good at the time too,
Yeah.
until he got speared. So it just it was great.
Exactly. Like all three of them worked so well together to elevate one another. Like this is like the complete opposite to what I'd say how Shotzi and Ronda worked together, because all three of these guys had some really superb moments that really made anyone watching the match believe that at one point all three of them could have won this match. So this is how you do a good decent.
With the ambiguous ending, it still makes you question, but wait, who would win an actual match out of the three of these? Because, to be honest, like that, and again, like the first sort of triple threat match we had was kind of unpredictable. So it's like, wait, but out of the three of these, who can you say would win, like in a clean way? So it just makes you want to see it more.
Yeah, I too agree with what my sister said as well earlier about Theory's new changing character. I think this works for him. I like this new serious character that he's coming out with. And quite frankly, I saw him as just a joke beforehand. I'm very much willing to kind of give this Theory more of a chance, and because I'm taking him more seriously. So even though that was a fluke win, his character work and how he's changed it up, I think he's doing really well at the moment. So we'll see what he has to bring in the future, especially now that he's got this title again. But I'm intrigued to see what the company are going to do with him now, you know, whereas before I didn't really give him much train of thought. So yeah, we'll see how things go with him.
I'm sure he'll be jobbing out to Johnny Gargano for the US title sooner or later. But as for the match, Cole had to mention Shield, fair play to him. In a multiverse somewhere, this is for the WWE Championship. This is the main men's story on Raw. And another thing about it, when Seth starts flying, you realise how good he is in the air. But he doesn't need to do it all the time. And that's what makes these events more special, when he's pulling out Phoenix Splashes and Frog Splashes like it's nothing. And like I said, really enjoyed this to flow. It felt like a proper triple match where you didn't know which way it was going to go. So, Jaxie, I'll start with you. What were you going to score this at 5?
I mean, I thought this match was great, so I just gave it a 4.5.
Yeah. Monty, what about you?
I'm definitely biased. If you don't know, triple threats are my jump. I love them. It's hard. You really have to be bad to mess up triple threats, in my opinion. But I know they're hard to do from the wrestler's perspective. Anyway, I give them 5 stars.
5. And Gina, what about you?
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5. I thought it was good. Again, it just had me in such a mind fuck, I want to call it, in terms of who was going to win out of the three of these, because my gut always wants to go with Bobby Lashley, but my head was thinking, no, Theory's got this. But then you two went with the retaining, and I was just like, I just don't even know who's gonna come out of this on top. So yeah, it was definitely entertaining.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I'm going to give it 4.5 as well. Poll-wise, Austin Theory 11.8%, Bobby Lashley 29.4%, Seth Rollins 58.8%. Predictions, yes, Rogina went for Theory. Team Jonty is back. They went for Rollins, so Jonty's on 2, Rogina on 3. We see an advert for the Royal Rumble. I wonder why I mentioned that, Monty.
I wonder why.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be closer than you can imagine.
I suppose to see what happens as we approach the event. I always love a Royal Rumble as well. We see Jey Uso talking to Roman Reigns backstage, and Roman tells him he trusts Sammy, and they have to see how it plays out. Leading to the main event, the Brawling Brutes, Butch Dunn, Ridge Holland, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, and Roman Reigns. We saw Owens wore a Dusty Rose shirt to pay homage to the man who created the Wargames match. Bloodline all in red, apart from Daddy. And it is crazy. And I don't remember this, right? But again, it's crazy to think 30 years previously, Heyman's Dangerous Alliance took on Sting's Squadron. So Sting Squadron had Sting, Barry Windham, Dustin Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, and Nikita Koloff, right? And you laugh at that. 3 of those guys are still wrestling. Ricky Steamboat is making a comeback this year. Of course, we know Dustin Rhodes. Defeating the Dangerous Alliance, which was Steve Austin, Rick Rude, Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko. How, Monty, that is a mindfuck. Do you think that's kind of how Triple H fell in love with the War Games as well?
Yeah, man, it just shows you the insane history of not only that match type, but you have the NWA and WCW and all of that. So, even down to, we'll see in a minute, Kevin Owens' gear, and get in contact with Dusty and his that type of connection. It's just like the history of this match, and like you said, all of Triple H's influences now popping up in his work. It's amazing when you think about it. But yeah, man, it's crazy.
I also I really do like the fact that they do reference like previous war games or those that have been involved in them. It just not only pays respect to those, but it also gives you gives the fans who were fans, of those eras and watched those war games, it gives them something to actually reminisce about. So it always works in the favor of both people because you just get hit with that sense of nostalgia.
Yeah,
and to give young fans a chance, to have something to go back to, so you can see like the history or like just the evolution of the match type.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the low ceilings. That's the one thing that got me about. But again,
it's a great point.
They've changed it now. And we're going to start off with, like we said, the men's war games with Butch and Jay for the teams. This is Dunn's 4th war game. So much like Dakota Kai has had plenty of experience. They traded insults from... Yeah, they are. They traded insults from opposite rings for actually engaging each other. The babyface had the advantage in this match, so the next person to enter the cage was Holland. Reigns sat on a chair in a cage. I don't know if it was funny or not, but it looked cool. When it was time for the second member of the Bloodline to enter, Roman stopped Jimmy and told Zayn to go instead. He took his time getting in the ring because Holland and Butch were in control. Zayn saved Jay from Ridge, but there's no saving them from Drew. The way McIntyre was throwing Zayn around was hilarious. Once Jimmy got in the ring, he brought some tables into the cage. Jay and Zayn almost got into a fight, but Jimmy got between them. Jay, I would say, sold his hand all match from the first exchange with Dunn, which I loved. Owens helped turn the tide for the Brutes, bringing chairs. The Usos, Owens and Zayn were kept apart, bar a few looks. Kev drove Jimmy through a table. Solo arrived and turned the tide. He had a nice exchange with KO. Drew wanted payback on Solo, and of course, much like McIntyre this year, he didn't get it. Sheamus was the last face out. He hit the white noise on Solo from the second rope, and Reigns was the last man to enter the cage. Both teams stood opposite rings for a showdown before everyone engaged. It wouldn't be Triple H's War Games, Monty, without that scene of 5-on-5 in separate rings. I was waiting. It was a drinking game.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It has to happen. That's part of the EO trash can tradition. You have to do a square off. It wouldn't be the same without it.
It really wouldn't. We had the 50 beats of the Finn Balor. Sheamus was speared after Solo was brogued. Dunn saved the day. Jay hit Zayn by accident, but he did not seem sorry about it. 1D did Dunn. Reigns speared Ridge through a table. Drew was put through a table by Solo. Then Sikoa at a stunner. Owens arranged exchange. Kevin hit the stunner, but Sami Zayn stopped the referee's count. The look on both Sami and Owens' face.
Brilliant moment.
Yeah, was something that I've not seen in years. We wondered how it would come into play.
It was like a gasping moment, like a oh no, he didn't just do that.
And then when we thought maybe that was it, the worst thing happened. Zayn low-blowed KO, and then Helluva kick after Reigns approved. We see Owens falling out the corner in the kind of... and I know we've seen it in wrestling, but again, the emotion with these two men as Owens kind of fell to the floor after being betrayed by his best friend, and Jay looked on impressed and hit the match-winning Uso splash. Reigns embraced Zayn after the match, and so did Jay, to the delight of the crowd. And I tell you what, this War Games, I don't know what I was expecting, but what a story. The only issue with Ridge was probably the odd man out during this match. He probably just laid down during the majority of it. And also there was a rumour about Owens slapping Reigns too hard. We did see a little bit of marking on Reigns, but this was sorted out. But Monty, what do you think of that? Because that was A+ storytelling.
Right. Like, I'm glad you said storytelling, because that's what I kind of took away from it too. I've probably seen better War Games matches when it comes to big moments or like spots. You know what I'm saying? Or because like what immediately comes to mind is like Adam Cole and Ciampa off the top. You know what I mean? It wasn't anything crazy like that, really. Too crazy like that in this match that I like that, but. From a storytelling standpoint, oh man, this was just great, man. The teamwork of the Bloodline when they got into the ring, even with the conflict with Sammy and Jay, the storytelling of that too, they still work together well as a team. And the drama of that finish, like you said, the way it all played out, that was just top-notch execution by everyone involved. Like you said, the acting there with Kevin Owens, the facial expressions there, it was just all well played. And they also took their time, like after the low blow, that long pause in between the next action until when he finally does the Helluva Kick and all that type of stuff. All of that added to the dramatic feeling of that finish and of the betrayal or whatever. Just added weight to it all, in my opinion. So I just loved how it was produced and every camera angle made sense. It was just great. And then Solo looked like a beast throughout the match. He looked great, and I really love the fact that he got a chance to showcase how much of a force that he's going to be, especially as an enforcer for the Bloodline. And Jay finally acknowledged Sammy there at the end after the match, so it's just like you got a lot of things that was great to see, and it also kept you wondering, okay, well, what's next for the Bloodline now that they seem to have gotten over the fact of whether or not they should trust Sammy. What's going to happen next? What's Kevin going to do now? So you came away with some really good questions also out of this match. So I've probably seen better War Games matches, but the storytelling here, man, perfect stuff.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. Jaxie, what were your thoughts on this main event?
I mean, again, a lot of what Monty says, I agree with. There are some excellent moments. I do also agree with you that I feel like the probably the only person who didn't really benefit as much was Ridge. I didn't really see him much. He was always down.
Just laying down, yeah.
Every time he got up, someone put him back down. So, Ridge was sleeping throughout most of this match. Butch had some really great moments that just really highlighted the beginning of the War Games match between him and Jay. I really loved the sort of storytelling with having Jay and Sammy, the first two, in there. Just seeing Daddy Reigns sat down there shaking his head, you just know you disappointed Daddy. Like, damn. I was loving all of these little moments. Like, again, these are small little snippets of storytelling that just really make this sort of excellent, this whole outcome excellent. The match itself went hard. I really enjoyed it. Everything from when Sammy stopped the ref was just very, very entertaining. Overall, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. Gina, what about you? What were your thoughts, and what would you score out of 5 to start us off?
Well, I would score this a 5 for sure. But I definitely enjoyed this match, even from when you mentioned, James, about Roman sat in a chair in the cell. I actually thought that was boss vibes. I thought it set the tone of where Roman thinks he is in this pecking order with these 10 other men that are in this match with him. He's like, nah, I'm going to sit down until my ass is ready to get in that ring, So I loved that dominant feeling. And I don't know, I feel like I'm possibly a little bit biased with the bloodline, of course, because like I am one of 4 sisters. And so when I see sort of Roman, we have our elder sister, and then you've got the twins, which is us, me and my twin sister next. And then we have our baby sister, who I would say is Solo, and I would actually add that Jaxie's gay best friend is Sami Zayn for sure. But so I always kind of just link our family in with the bloodline, and it's just so cool to just see them work together, because it just gives me vibes of me and my sisters, always on the same wavelength. So I definitely am biased towards them, but I still will say that the other team, fought hard. I was a bit disappointed at first because I was like, the women brought in so many more weapons to their match, but to be honest, it was good that the guys didn't do the same and bring in just as many weapons as the women did, because they were more storytelling with the men's one, and that just made it even more impactful, and it made it different to the women's Wargames match in a way. So yeah, I definitely rated this match, and it just had me from beginning to end. I'm excited to see the Bloodline actually just work together for the next few weeks, hopefully. And they don't break my heart before Christmas. Just give us a nice few weeks of, Jay and Sammy having this best of friendship, fox and hound sort of thing, and then in the new year it will all come crashing down for sure. Like, I'm possibly like gonna prophesize like Sami Zayn is gonna win the Royal Rumble and be like, I did it for you, Tribal Chief, so you don't have to have anyone to come at you for WrestleMania. But then the closer the time gets to it, Sammy's like eyeing that belt, it'll be wicked. So there's definitely so many different like ways they can go with this, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna do.
Well, it's even like, I think Monty mentioned it, like Evolution kind of booking of Solo Sikoa. I mean, even what happened with Sami Zayn this year, you could have Solo winning the Rumble, and then having that point where, Reigns saying to him, well, you're going to kind of bow down to me, because now the Usos and Zayn are getting on, and Solo's, it was a brilliant moment on SmackDown, we'll talk about in a minute, but when they were trying to get him to hug him, and Solo was the only one not moving. So now you're thinking, like, oh, is he going to be the one? Obviously, we're going to get the Sami Zayn stuff happening, but there is even a story there in 6 months' time to a year as well. We talk about long-term storytelling. It is just aces at this moment in WWE. But, Jaxie, what would you score that out of 5?
Yeah, again, I think it was another 5-star match. It was just entertaining throughout all of it. I was highly invested to see how that outcome was going to affect the Bloodline going forward. And I just thought it was brilliant from all of the participants. They put a lot of effort into this. So, yeah, 5.
And Monty, what about you?
Yeah, perfect story, but match, I'll give it 4 3/4.
No problems with that. Like I said, poll-wise, who wins? Well, the Bloodline, 65% of the vote. Jackson Howe said the Brutes, because it's the only way to give Bloodline any significant loss without them losing the belts. We thought that at WrestleMania Backlash. I'm now Bloodline in the match.
Yep.
I'm back in Bloodline. I've learnt my lesson.
Right, just screw it, bro. Like, yeah, fuck, just screw it.
Predictions to end the night. Monty, Jaxie, and I all went for the Brutes. Gina went Bloodline. So the final scores are James and Monty on 2, Jaxie on 3, Gina on 4. So that's right. In a fight between Monty and Jaxie, Gina steals the show again, much like the AEW show. She did it again.
Yeah. What the hell?
Never bet.
Just came up on top.
Gina, how do you feel about your win?
I mean, I'm definitely gloating for sure, because I'm just like, that G-Site came into play again, and I'm happy with it. Even though it doesn't really significant any of my end stats for the year, I'm still happy to come out with a win.
Well,
that might help you. We don't know.
What is that? Any points to come along, but it does mean that you have changed the outcome. You have changed people's destinies, Gina, as it comes to the Predictions League, and especially the Pay-Per-View League, because their final scores for WWE Pay-Per-View League, James is on 5, Gina on 6, just ran out of events. Boy, are we glad this Gina didn't start in January.
Thank you, Triple
H. Jesus Christ,
yeah.
we'd all be down. We'd all be 5 points behind.
He's very scared for next year.
I'm worried. I am shitting myself.
I know. We need to up our game for sure.
I've been doing WWE stuff, and I've never had a worse score in my run of 8 years here. But it does mean
Last place.
Yeah, right. Well, it does mean Monty and Jaxie finish on 7 points each when it comes to the prediction league.
Fair play.
So it means
Yay.
Monty and Jaxie get 2 points each for the league win as well. All right. So then that will go to the bonus league.
Let's go.
So at the moment, the points have now been contabulated. Hang on, let me tap quickly. That's me tapping away. They have been moved across, and Gina at the moment is on 7. Gina's on 7, Jaxie's on 8, Monty's on 10, I am on 14. But don't panic, there's one more bonus point on the line for NXT Deadline, which Jaxie and Gina have on NXT event this year. One for potential perfect score. So if you get a perfect score in this one, that's 2-point swing. And then, like we said, the points from the AEW League, WWE, and the bonus league go into the final league of the year with predictions to make the difference. It will make sense when we do it. It doesn't make sense, doesn't sound like it makes sense now, but trust me, we will find out how many. So it just to put it here. So if Gina finds out she is 5 points behind, the leader in the league, with the year-end predictions, there's about, I think, 50. Maybe definitely 40. I think there's about 40 predictions because we've got all the champions in AEW, New Japan as well, WrestleMania main events, Full Gear main event. We are going to have the best time ever at the year-end predictions, which will happen on a New Year's Eve special. And of course, like I said, December coming up is going to be great because we've got the WNR Wars coming up. And then, of course, we'll find out who is the true prediction king and or queen of the WNR podcast. But like I said, it's going to be really, really good stuff. They did have a post-show press conference as well, with Triple H announcing the show was the most viewed Survivor Series in history, as well as the highest grossing ever. But basically, he said it's the best event we've ever done ever. That's it. And it seems to be at this moment. Sami Zayn did come out for a few words. He said he will never turn on the bloodline. He's part of the hottest act. He's main event talent. Heyman said he was going to have a guest spot and become a star of the show. This was actually great. I could have done an hour of Paul and Sami, and then Bianca Belair and Lynch next. Bex talked about practice earlier for a dive, which is probably the most interesting thing. People listen to that and go, what, you practice it first? But obviously you do. And then finally, Raw notes on Raw. Kevin Owens insisted he wasn't angry at Sami Zayn, but made it clear he no longer wanted anything to do with the man who'd been so closely linked to him for 2 decades. And in the main event, Owens beat Jey Uso, despite the presence of Bloodline. And then finally, SmackDown notes, because I finally had a chance to catch that up as well. Tegan Knox returned. Yeah, that's what I thought.
That was so random. I would have totally done that so much more differently. I would have had her turn up to make a save during a singles match with Dakota Kai in this match. Yeah. Like, she was taken out by Dakota Kai, and they breezed by this so quickly that Michael Cole had to really quickly put that in as commentary. A lot of people who didn't watch that time wouldn't know of the impacts that Dakota Kai had by turning. Yeah. And as that was on NXT, you'd have thought that would have been a better moment to have had her return during a match, so that Michael Cohen could really discuss it and actually go into further depth to update people, you know? So am I excited to see her back? Yeah, bring it. I want to see what she can bring to this division now as well. At the same time, I also wasn't as excited at her return because it was just so quickly breezed over.
Well, look how well they've treated Emma since she returned, you know? So I don't think we should be worried.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I know everything with her and Madcap Moss are cringe. Just because even if people are dating in real life, they ain't married. They're not Bianca Belair and Montez Ford yet. Can we stop coupling up everyone? Because do you know what? They might not be together in a year's time or something. So Can we just stop doing that? Because also it's just cringe. Her giving him a little kiss on the cheek. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
It sounds like they don't.
that.
They just don't have anything else for them, though. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah,
When you start going to personal life for no reason, it's just like you don't have anything else for these people, do you?
No, you really don't. But it's just cringe.
Again. Just do that then. If you got plenty of people that you got not doing nothing and are linked to no storylines, bring back the mixed tag championship league to give other
Mixed match challenge.
Yeah. That would actually be fun.
Exactly. Just do that again. But I don't need some cringy
or just
girl
have her compete.
Yeah, or make a women's division.
Yeah,
that is,
or just like have her actually compete right and fight in one of these divisions that they have. Because you have two perfectly good divisions that she can be a part of.
The thing is, though, like you said, it's becoming a bit of a joke, the amount of women that are returning and then seemingly just waiting and catering. I mean,
or Lacey.
Put the piss out of AEW. Like, how many returns does Lacey Evans need? Like, how many beginnings?
Oh my God, don't. I was so bored. I was like, why are we getting this again? Are you seriously trying to make her another face again with this package? I fucking hell.
Weeks of just promos of her talking about being this upstanding military person thing, and then they bring her back, flip her to a heel like within 2 weeks as soon as she finally graces our screens. Then she disappears for a hot sec, and now you're coming back again with another promotional military I'm this video. Oh my God, please no.
Another person who just needs to compete. Like she's been back and having her baby for a long time. And
her in a match or something, for God's sake.
She rarely fights other than these random multi-women matches out of nowhere.
Honestly, she's become synonymous. She's become synonymous for making her entrance and then taking her ass back to catering. Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ. Get in the ring.
So before we get into the main event of SmackDown, well, before we get to the main event, I think I've forgotten to do the end of the event scores, so, which is pretty important.
Oh, okay,
yeah. So we do match rating and MVP for Survivor Series Wargames. So match of the night for me will be the men's Wargames match. Jaxie, would you pick the women's or the men's as your favourite?
I'm going to go with the women's for a favourite match.
Yeah. Monty, yours was the triple threat.
Triple threat, yeah.
And Gina, yours was the main event. So, MVP of the night. Is this too easy? Is the MVP too easy an award? I've copped out. I've gone Sami Zayn. Jaxie, what about you?
Yeah, I went Sami Zayn as well. I have to.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Monty, please help.
No, it's a sweep.
Well, doesn't happen in the WNR Wars, but happened here with Sami Zayn. Hey?
Yeah.
We have got a sweep, and then final scores out of 10. Gina, start us off. What would you rank this out of 10?
Do you know what? Overall, it was good. I mean, all the matches in between both Wargames matches were really good and entertaining. We had quite a few matches that, gave us outcomes we weren't expecting, even if a couple of us went with the prediction. It was just kind of a leap. So I definitely will rate it. I'll give it a 9 because I was entertained all throughout.
Yeah, that's great. Monty?
Yeah, it was only one lull in this show. And even in that situation, like I mentioned, I like Shotzi. So, yeah, I'm going like 9 and a quarter, 9.5, something like this.
Which one? If you're gonna
9.25, bro.
No.
Go with it. 9.25.
Because what I'll try and hopefully do is go back and look at how we've ranked all the scores throughout the year and try and pick out like our pay-per-views we've rated the most, so to speak.
Gotcha.
Well, for me, it's a clash, but hey, no spoilers. Jaxie, what would you rate this out of 10?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8.5. I thought it was really good. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10. Like I said, really, really good stuff. 5 matches filled up the gap well, and I wasn't bored during the men's and the women's Wargames matches. Usually when you have to wait for stuff, it does come a little, tedious, but I think it all played out. The only thing I would swap probably is Shotzi and Ronda just after the women's Wargames, just to get rid of it. and then the crowd would have probably been on their feet a little bit more for Balor and AJ. But we talked about SmackDown, and of course the main event was the World Cup. Let's not talk about the soccer World Cup, because that doesn't matter. The only World Cup that matters is the wrestling one. I'll have you know. Well, in the World Cup final, we have Legado was sent packing. And this is another thing. When the problem with teams and managers helping you out, as soon as they're sent away, you're thinking, babyface is winning. But again, we weren't sure because we had Santos Escobar and Ricochet one-on-one. These two men danced on the barricade and then dazzled in the final stretch. Let them wrestle and the crowd will come. Ricochet wins the World Cup, Monty. So, USA, USA, USA. I mean, Cole would have been devastated with the USA's elimination versus Netherlands. Imagine them getting beat by a team Peter Pan is from. But England haven't played Senegal yet, so I'll keep my words short and sweet because I may have to eat
relax.
Yeah, don't think so. Don't think that.
So, Monty, what did you think of the World Cup? The concept wasn't too bad, but man, this match was an absolute banger.
Yeah, you know what? I was mixed, but at the same time, I understood it. I actually liked the outcomes of it because again, you had a chance to get to see people in their element just wrestling, and it has a purpose. I love the fact that we have a clear end goal here, which is Gunther's or Walter's championship. So it's cool. So I really love the concept, and I loved how we got really good matches for the most part, other than maybe Braun's participation, but even his stuff wasn't too bad. It was just, you know what to expect when Braun's out there. But yeah, so I enjoyed the tournament as a whole, and to have this to cap it off, again, a guy like we all know what Ricochet can do. I think everyone know he's special at this point, but I think for a lot of people on a grand scale to finally get a chance to see Santos Escobar, people who've been watching NXT may already know just how damn good he is. But I think that may have been the first time a lot of people got a chance to see really what he can do in a one-on-one setting without the help of Legado. Even though he lost, he put on a really, really good show, and I really loved this match. So yeah, it was a great final, great way to cap things off, and it was no way, like you mentioned, after what happened, there was no way the USA was losing.
No, you knew that from the start.
I knew it. There's no way the USA was losing.
World Cup without USA winning. But then again, the only issue I had with this was the fact in 2 weeks, Ricochet loses to Gunther to set up the Braun match.
Yeah.
Because obviously with Braun obviously with Kofi versus Gunther as well, which, again, another good matchup. But I thought Raw and SmackDown were really good this week. I mean, Gina, I don't know what you thought, but I thought they're actually really entertaining, coming off an event, and we are interested in the product. And I can't remember the last time that happened.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think even me and Jaxie were speaking about this when watching it. We were just like, I actually don't remember being this excited to see the show especially after a pay-per-view in a long time. So that was a nice change to be excited for it.
Yeah, I think without that, like I said, it'd be interesting times ahead. Obviously, we've got the Rumble, the Chamber, and then WrestleMania. And I think the lead up to the Rumble is going to be very interesting. And like I said, the Bloodline as a proper group, so to speak, with no problems. And we're just waiting for it now. We're waiting for something to go wrong, but we don't know what it possibly could be. And another thing as well, it looks like we might be getting as well, is Sheamus and McIntyre as a team against the Usos. I mean, I don't mind Drew losing. I'm used to it. But I think these matches can deliver. So, Jackson, like I said, the future, as we head towards the Rumble, looks very entertaining.
I mean, yeah, I do have to say, it's very strange to feel like in the space of a year, my perception of WWE has been relatively negative. And it's switched up to being really positive and, kind of looking forward to the outcomes of, all of the events. So for me, going into the new year, I'm very excited to see what wrestling will bring, not just from WWE, but AEW as well. I can only hope that things continue to progress. We get a lot more potential crossovers with New Japan, especially potentially something happening in WWE with New Japan would be an amazing achievement.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see what we're going to get in this next year to come. So is another exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, without a doubt, we've actually left this on a positive. I mean, go back and listen to like the year end last year with WWE. It weren't this. So, like I said, they have turned a corner here. But that is it for today. Don't forget, we're across all social media. Twitter at the WNR Podcast. I'm at the WNR JR. You can find the entire WNR team on the Twitter banner. Or Monty, do you want to plug your stuff?
Yes, please, check out the newest podcast on my Twitter at Mind Monty Pod on Twitter, or you can go to Mind of Monty on YouTube. I'll probably be uploading some clips, even though it's a pretty short show. Biggest announcement on my show, but it has nothing to do with wrestling. So just check it out. And yeah, I've already been getting a lot of positive feedback from it. So any more support will be appreciated. I thank you once again for always providing this platform. And I'm happy to be back podding, doing my thing.
Yeah, you will not believe the announcement. I mean, I'm not going to build it up anymore, but literally, stop listening to this pod right now and listen to Monty, because you will not believe it. It's just the announcement is so huge and so just gigantic. But also, we've got Jaxie. Jaxie, where can people find you?
I need to pay you for promo.
That was brilliant. For that execution there, James. You can find me on both Instagram and Twitter at Jaxie Scarlett.
And Gina? Gina?
I didn't even hear you say my name to say go.
I'm sorry. Gina! Gina!
Yeah, I was for an introduction and you didn't do jack shit. So, where's my intro, James? Where's my intro? Anyway, you can find me on both at Purple Pain with an E on the end.
Purple. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt to correct you. This is technically an outro. The intro, I always sing you a song. So don't tell me I don't do it. All right? Because I've had enough. Honestly.
So I won this one. I won this one, so I'm wearing my crown, and I need to feel like a queen. So yeah.
Bow down.
Well, yes. Well, okay. Let me just look. Let me work that out. Okay, we'll do it.
I mean, technically, her name does mean queen in Latin, so you might want to remember that.
Yeah, and James probably means
hell.
dickhead. So let's not look too much into what it mean. But the WNR also on Facebook, Instagram, across all good platforms. Send us an email at WNRpodcast at gmail.com, YouTube, podcast. We have latest clips and podcasts got the same time on YouTube, and they do SoundCloud on your phone. You try to do that quicker. Also Spotify and iTunes, we can download, subscribe, rate, and review there. So that is it. Our next episode, well, I'm hoping to do an Impact show, and yes, Gina, we still follow Impact on the pod. We've got Overdrive coming up and Throwback Throwdown, which was a Sid fucking dream. But we also got NXT Update. That's coming up next weekend. We've got 6 episodes, and of course we'll be doing predictions for NXT Deadline as well. Monty, you and I, will you be in a good mood after 6 fucking episodes of NXT? That's the question.
As I said, it's a lot of Von Wagner lately too, so I'm in trouble, bro.
Yeah, Von fucking Wagner. But that is it. I've been James Rowlands, and I was joined by the fantastic Jaxie Scarlett. Thank you for joining.
It's been fun, so thank you for having me. And on to the next one.
The mind of Monty. Make sure you listen to the podcast. It's huge. It's huge.
Thank you. And as far as the WWE rankings go, I'm a loser and a winner, so I'm feeling great.
Again, that is going to be another T-shirt made. Have winner on the front, loser on the back, and we just turn when we feel like it. And finally, last, but by no means least, the current queen of predictions here on the WNR podcast, the AEW Full Gear winner, the WWE Survivor Series Wargames winner, the one, the only, the magnificent, the genius, which is Gina. Thank you for joining.
That's what I'm talking about, James. That's what I'm talking about. Hype me up.
G-side.
Thank you for having Me and my G sites.
Yes. Well, thank everybody for listening, and bye.